The National Park of Arikok, Aruba. Before talking about Arikok, what are the characteristics of a national park? The minimum size of 1,000 hectares or 2,470 acres within the zone of protection. There is one or several ecosystems that is not materially altered by human, where plants and animals species live in. Their actions being taken by the highest component authority of the country. Actions such as prevent or eliminate exploitation or occupation that leads to the establishment of the national park. The budget and staff is sufficient to provide effective protection. The visitors are allowed to enter under special conditions for inspirational, educative, cultural, and procreative purposes. But where is Arikok located? Arikok National Park is located on Aruba. Nearly 20% of the island is designated to the national park and home for a long list of animal species and plant life. Arikok is Aruba's national treasure and they protect with everything in it. The national park is a nature conservation that is 34 square kilometers of natural area. It is located in the northern east part of Aruba, which contains examples of islands, flora and fauna, and a great backdrop of geological complexity. Explore the park by mountain bike, horseback riding, car, a jeep, a ATV, or hiking. The national park hosts a variety of habitats of plant life. The main ecotype is scrubland. There are cactus scattered across the landscape during thorny bushes. But you're likely to see a lot of snakes, owls, bats, lizards, myriad birds, as well as goats and donkeys. For example, there are about 1,500 wild goats. There are 250 adult snake life left on the island. Arikok, as you can see, is a home to rare gems and indigenous to the island. But what about the landscape? What is in the landscape? There is a great geological variety within the park, a variety of unique attractions and cultural heritage, which include caves, ancient rocks, lava. There are dry riverbeds. There are 20 different locations and attractions that you can see, which are divided in 3 conservations: North Conservation, Central Activity Zone, and South Conservation Zone. Of the North Conservation, you can find Daimari Beach, which is the northernmost point of Arikok. This bay originates from erosion of the Daimari dry riverbeds. Here you can swim freely and surf. This is where most of the surfers of Aruba go to. Next to it, there is Moro. Moro sometimes is referred to a little island, Little Aruba, as from the top it carries a resemblance to the outline of Aruba. This rock is what's left of 2 dry riverbeds when it eroded. But Arikok also has Conchi. Conchi is the most important natural attraction. It is also known as the natural pool. The journey to the pool is adventure by itself. It is only possible by foot, horse, ATV, or 4x4 vehicle. The Central Activity Zone. There are 15 different attractions here. However, I'm not going to talk about all 15. I would say, however, there is the most visited ones, which is Miramar Gold Mine Ruins. This former mill is the northern part of Aruba Hinds Island relative unknown gold rush. It was first discovered in 1824. Gold remained an important Aruban industry until around 1916, which in the island producing about more than 3 million pounds in total. The precious metal is even reflected in Aruba's name, which roughly translates there was gold. Next are the Fontaine Caves. The Caquetío Indians left paintings in the Conuco Arikok and Fontaine Caves. The bird drawing is a park logo and a copy one of the historical artist expression, the Old Plantain of Conuco. These Conucos were a residential area for a few families that worked on the land. Families found a way to survive in difficult conditions. But at Conuco Arikok and near the plantation of Prince, you can find these adobe houses. This tribe lived on Aruba from around 1500 BC. The paintings has been dated back to 1000 years. Although slightly, these paintings are a bit faded, but still clear as day. The South Conservation. They consist of 5 different attractions. The Guardiquiri Cave, which is the limestone caves that carried an original Indian name, where the bat at dusk of dawn exit through the holes and during the day come back to rest in the cave. There's Vadar Pit, which is the wind farm. Roy Prince, which ends at the Boca Prince. Yamanota Hill, which is the highest point of Aruba, with 188 meters. And lastly, Masiduri, which is an experimental plantation. But how did Arikok become a national park? The idea of a national park started back in the late 60s, so 1960s. Until 1980, a plan was presented for development of the area of Arikok/Yamanota into a national park. But only a small portion of the plan was realized, and this resulted into Conuco Arikok. 25 years ago, which is 1995, the government came to a new plan for development of the national park, which the Nature Protection Regulation became effective. This state ordinance is the basis complete for a natural protection policy in the island of Aruba, which is the start of the creation of a national park. In 1996, the government approved it, so then it was a setup for the establishment of National Park of Arikok. Finally, in 2000, it was declared that the park was established. And in 2003, Arikok National Park became a foundation. But what are the trends that you can see here? Contribute. Their objective is to preserve, protect, restore, develop, acquire, and obtain the management of areas that are valuable from the perspective of a natural environment, and the areas and objective existing that are valuable from perspective of geology, culture, archaeology, and history. To conserve. Their mission is to conserve Aruba's natural and cultural heritage for all generations while inspiring and engaging the local community and visitors to do the same. Aruba's flora and fauna, landscapes, ecological habitats, and cultural history heritage are to be cherished, preserved, and conserved because they're what makes Aruba unique and gives our identity. The next is expansion. In February 2017, mangrove and wetland Ramsar site the number of 998 Spanish Lagoon was annexed to National Park of Arikok due to its importance as feeding and breeding areas, water birds, and nursery areas of a variety of marine organisms. With this addition, the area of the foundation of Parque Nacional Arikok management increases by 70 hectares, while with an amount of species of flora and fauna to be conserved over 270. The sustainability in tourism. There is a focus that is set on meeting targets relating to the goals of number 2, 6, 8, 12, 16, 17, but with a specific emphasis on the sustainable goals of 13, 14, and 15. So the climate action, the life below water, and life on land. They want to maintain of the sustainability of the sustainable global goals working with it. So they can adapt and flexible. They can be placed on defining geographical areas. They're cross-sectoral, considering interactions between sectors and human activities, but they're proactive. Operational guidelines. They have to be locally oriented but globally minded, independent, and non-political organization. They use the best scientific information and their practices to face their challenges and deliver the conservation objective and effective for long-term results. They involve local community in planting and executing of the field's programs and respecting their cultural economical needs. They enhance and effectively through help of many partners and individuals and government to local and international nonprofit organizations and corporations. However, there are many policies. If you're spending time in the park, there are quite a few rules that must be followed. For example, you're only allowed to drive in the main roads. These are clearly marked, and no under circumstance are you allowed to drive in the sand dunes or the beaches. You also must be with a speed limit of 20 kilometers per hour. It is absolutely important that you respect the landscape and local wildlife. Keep your voice down. Don't throw your trash anywhere in the nature, as most national parks are encouraged to be observed and not disturb the local wildlife. But of course, this national park wants to innovate. They have future plans which is already in progress. On December 21st of 2018, Parque Marino Aruba, which is the marine park, currently consists of 4 marine protected areas. It was officially established and brought under management of Parque Nacional of Arikok. In 2019, the management established the plans to include coral reefs, seagrass beds, mangrove systems, a large diversity of breeding seabirds. Parque Marino Arikok also contains potential shark nursery areas and endangered sea turtles nesting beaches and marine mammal nursery areas. For 2021, it will be finalized with 4 new protected areas. These you can see in the blue spots are the marine protected areas. But also there are things that shouldn't be overlooked. For example, the Marine Park of Aruba effectiveness is compromised when the local communities are not involved. The lack of social and economical incentives to comply within the Marine Park of Arikok regulations. Failure is often attributed to the factors relating to the design and operation. A successful establishment for the Marine Park Arikok can potentially be achieved by educating the local communities on conserving issues regarding the local environment. But of course, there is reinforcement that are in the legal system. So enforce legislation of the park regulation to be prevent and stop illegally activities, which are deposit of waste, driving on the beaches, vessels navigation zones, spearfishing, illegal types of fishing, poaching and protected species. During the 2-year transition phase to the protocol and policies will be developed together to relevant enforces entities. But how does, you can say, Arikok compare to Caribbean national parks? There are about 6 60 parks in the Caribbean for national parks. But here's what makes them comparable. They all have more than 1,000 hectares protected land. They all have the same goal to inspire and educate others. For example, the Curaçao, which is one of our sister islands, they also have the nature, the museums, the history, and the culture. But not to forget, for all Caribbean, tourism marketing establishes the expectation for a visitor, many respects in the boundaries experienced for their visit. So the nature park has a really big impact for all these Caribbean islands. So to give a conclusion, national park has a lot of impact in the tourism because a lot of people come to the Caribbean, especially Aruba, to come and see the nature. They want to educate. They educate to conserve, to contribute to our nature. The ecosystem, there's a lot of them that comes just from nature that are not humanly touched. But also, it has a great impact on the human behavior, on how humans should behave. Do not put your trash wherever, to throw it away, to grab it, to ban plastic products. And of course, to have many more activities that, well, are basically for free. But Arikok has the slogan that we should all listen to. Take nothing but photos. Leave nothing but footprints. Words to live by, if you ask me. Thank you.